Welcome back, Boxcar Media. How do you sever old relationships without feeling guilty? In this video, I want to talk about how to sever old dead end relationships, old dead end connections, and how to foster fruitful relationships that actually contribute to your future. You see, many of you ain't making it not because you don't have the potential or the talent. You're not making it because you're allowing access to people that have no business being there. You're giving access to people that you outgrew years ago, but they still got that connection to you. They still got that number. And you know who I'm talking about. You know the type. It's the ones that only call when they need something. Hey, do you happen to have? Do you think I can get a ride? I'm short on some gas money. My PG&E's about to get cut off. Hey, by the way, do you? You know exactly who I'm talking about. That friendship isn't transactional. They're never pouring into your life. They're constantly taking. They're just opportunists and users. And you just happen to be available at that time. What about the ones that are jealous of your growth? The ones that make you feel guilty because you're progressing and they're not. They don't celebrate your success, they feel threatened by it. Or what about the ones that want to keep you stuck in the same small thinking? You have an idea, you have something that God deposited in your spirit that you want to pursue. He gave you a purpose, he gave you a mission, and you shared it with this old dead-end toxic friend of yours. And the feedback you got discouraged you. Oh man, what? You're talking crazy now. Come on, bro. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. These are the friends. These are the old connections. And unfortunately, these are some of the family members I'm talking about. You could be sitting at home in perfect peace, enjoying your day, going about your business. And that one friend pulls up, she gets out of the car, goes into your living room, sits you down, and just emotionally dumps all this toxic pollution into your spirit. Everything she's going through at that moment in time. Her boyfriend or husband is acting up. Her kids ain't minding. The money is short. Her car's breaking down. She feels unseen. She feels useless. So-and-so passed away. And all this just emotional trauma, she came and just dumped into your living room. And then after she felt better, she left. And you're sitting there trying to deal and process with all the things that she left you with. No questions about your life. No inquiries about what you've been doing lately. It was just her opportunity to emotionally dump and feel better about her situation. Oh, I feel better now. I got it out. Well, what about that friend? What about that friend that always tries to throw your loyalty in your face when you don't bend to their will? Oh, what do you mean? Oh, you think you're too good for me now. No. You think that I think that I'm too good for you now. Therefore, you have the problem, not me. You see, these are the type of manipulators, the relational vampires, that if you allow access into your life, it'll hinder and slow down your progress. It'll hinder and slow down your purpose. And in some cases, destroy it altogether. What do you got to do to avoid this from happening? Well, the solution is simple. You got to cut them off. You got to cut them off. How do you do that? Well, you start distancing yourself from them. You stop answering the text messages. You stop answering the phone calls. You be real selective about when you communicate with them, and you do it on your terms. And if they pop up at your house unannounced, you got to set that boundary. You can't just pop up over here anytime you feel like it. And if they don't respect your boundaries, then they don't have no business in your life. If they don't respect you enough to honor your boundaries, that you're trying to protect your personal space, protect your peace, your household, and they can't understand that, they have no business in your life. Because they look at you as just a utility, not as a true friend. And yeah, you may have some history with them. You may have some relational history with them. You may have even a blood bond with them. But don't mistake loyalty for self-sabotage. You have purpose. You have a mission. You have a destination that you're trying to hit. And you can't bring those type of people with you. You know, a lot of them get jealous and make you feel guilty about your purpose. It's because they feel so ashamed about their lack of growth. They feel so ashamed of their lack of progress. You know, they're still in the same mindset. They're still in the same tax bracket. They're still in the same neighborhood. You see, God called you to advance. And not because you're better than them. It was available to all of us. But if you're still at the same place that you were 20 years ago, that's no one's fault but themselves. The Apostle Paul says we are responsible for our own conduct. And this ain't no Bible study. I'm not trying to get preachy with you, but that's the plumb line. That's the chief cornerstone. That's how we know the walls of our lives are straight and plumb. So these old connections you have, these old dead-end friendships, these friendships that contribute nothing to your life, they add no sort of value to your life whatsoever. Why are you still keeping them around? Why are you still allowing them to have access to you? What is it that they got that they're trying to hold over you? You have a purpose. You have a destiny. You have a calling. You have a future. God is calling you to something great, but you can't accomplish it being surrounded by people that's trying to make you think small. They're trying to remind you of an old identity that you've abandoned and been delivered from years ago. And you don't separate yourself from them just for the sake of isolation because you hate these individuals. That's not the case at all. You separate yourself from them because you're in love with your future more. You're in love with your future more than you are with your past. And you know, women can relate to this. What do you do with your hair when there's dead ends? Or split ends? You cut them off. What do you do in a garden when there's weeds growing among these beautiful flowers that you planted? You pull them out. It's time to pull the weeds out of your relational garden. Take a look at the landscape of your friends. And those old toxic relationships you used to have, or that you still have, that you still maintain because you think you're loyal, but you're really just self-sabotaging, you need to cut them off because they're stunting your growth. And you can't take them with you where you're going. That's a journey for you and God. Your future is way too serious to be playing with. There's things that God has for you that, are just, He's waiting for you to make those necessary changes, those necessary separations. He demonstrated this in the scriptures. There was a time He was teaching His disciples in a crowd of people, and someone ran up to Him and said, "Jesus, your mother and your brothers want to speak with you." And He looked over the crowd and motioned His hands toward the crowd and said, Who is my mother? Who is my brother? Who are my sisters? It's those who do the will of my Father in heaven. Now, Jesus wasn't being disrespectful, but he prioritized purpose over family obligation. He prioritized his purpose over his familial obligations. Now, Jesus loved his family, don't get me wrong, but he prioritized his mission. Now, what are you doing with the mission that God put in your heart? Or are you so consumed with these toxic relationships? Are you so busy? Are you so manipulated by, are you so deceived by all these different so-called friendships in your life that you don't even got time or an ear to give God to even listen to something that he may want to deposit in your spirit? Are you so busy entertaining all these different emotional, psychological games that these so-called friends of yours play? There's no time for frivolous relationships in this day and age. Time is moving fast. And we got to be prepared for what it is that's coming next. I love my old friends, man. I really do. But I love my future more. I love my family more. And I got to prioritize my purpose over my past. I got to cut and sever those relationships and distance myself, create space, because this is where the power is. When you create space, you create peace. And when you create peace, you create clarity. And when you create clarity, you create time. And when you got time, you start to think. And when you think, you begin to think better. Now, that might sound simple to some, but if you really think about it, it's profound. When you have time to think, you think better. If you do an audit of your thoughts throughout the day, you will realize you don't do much thinking. It's the same 20 or 30 thoughts that just get a constant rerun in the theater of your mind. There's no new ideas floating in there because you're too busy entertaining things from the past, old hurts and traumas, and those get reminded to you by these old relationships, by these old friends, by these family members who say, hey, we're family. But family is a word we use very loosely. Hey, thanks for joining us. I hope that your purpose stays intact. Cut off the old relationships. And I'll see you on the next one.
Thank you for joining us. We hope today's episode has sparked your curiosity and offered you new insights into the human experience. If you enjoyed the episode, please consider subscribing and sharing it with others who might find value in our content. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so feel free to leave a comment and a thumbs up. Until next time, keep exploring, reflecting, and finding meaning in your own unique journey. Safe travels, and we'll see you in the next episode.